What's up, everybody? It's All for One Investigates. It's UFOs, UAPs versus government science and technology.
I don't buy this shit for a second. Quick story about these drones. This is why I don't believe it. My wife, was it all three of us? No, it was just me and you. We came to visit North Carolina. I flew my drone 3 times in a matter of 2 days. And on the second day, Department of Homeland Security came to our hotel and said, I watched your drone fly 3 times. We seen your flights. Don't fly your drone again. You're not allowed to fly in this area. So they know where those drones are coming from. They know where they're taking off, where they're landing, what their IDs are. They know all that shit. And I'll post the video because I have it from the drone and them coming to the hotel. So I don't buy this shit for a second.
Look at this, man. It's a freaking helicopter, bro. It's a freaking helicopter, man. Dude. And then you got this guy in the same picture, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do better. Do better. And here's Greer's message. Let's go over it real quick.
What are people seeing?
Well, it's a complex story that make it very succinct. We did predict this 30 years ago that they would begin to launch some activity equivalent to a false flag to make it look like there's some sort of alien attack or threat. In reality, it's a response to what's happening. And I've recently told the incoming members of the administration this and people at the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee that we have a team of about 6 different black sites that have been running illegal projects related to so-called UAPs and UFOs coming forward in the next 30 days or so. They will bring forth dispositive evidence of this and the fact that these programs have been run illegally and outside of constitutional oversight. This is a ramp up to divert attention from that activity and could lead to some other events that would be catastrophic. This is a very dangerous situation. Nothing people are seeing has anything to do with aliens or extraterrestrial intelligence. It has to do with trying to maintain the cover up on a secret program that went black, but illegal black, back in the late 1950s. So we're into a 65, 70 years of some very dangerous operations. Now, these men that are defecting are coming out of some sites I've been at. I was in a helicopter last year, which after that I was almost killed, frankly. And we were over these black sites and saw the openings that go into underground facilities where there are the man-made UFOs that come out, but also where they have illegal electromagnetic pulse weapons where they target and down the extraterrestrial vehicles that are then reverse engineered.
Okay, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, Dr. Greer. Let me start just because I want everyone at home I want us all to be on the same page. You're saying that we have the technology to shoot ET craft, not of this planet, out of the air, and we are reverse engineering those aircraft.
100%. And there are multiple men coming forward. They've been with JSOC and Special Forces, who are also NOx, an unofficial cover in corporate world. One of them's been there about 29 years and is very senior and has all the evidence, and they'll be releasing the evidence and the information. Now, this creates a dynamic because it's happening before the inauguration. They plan to do it sometime between now and early January. And I've been working with these men for about 19 months, and they're serious and they have the goods. They can prove what they're stating, but they're also going to unmask themselves. They will come forward, the name, rank, serial number, and the whole history of this, including the illegal nature of some of these programs, which we don't have time to go into, but they'll curl your toes. Some of the stuff that's been going on is quite illegal and very dangerous and horrible. But the technologies, I mean, remember the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty requires that we have no electromagnetic pulse
Could you give me, Dr. Greer, could you give us a quick summary? I'd like to hear some of the toe curling details, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, for example, they have been able to confirm one of our whistleblowers' testimony, who's a Marine, Michael Herrera, who was present at an event, stumbled across an event during a rescue mission after the Indonesian earthquake in 2009, and he came across a platform, a man-made object, about 300 feet around, that was manned by covert human operators who were American, and they had boxed up and crated up humans that they were trafficking that had oxygen tanks on this tank, and they were being moved to a black site for various types of human experimentation and use. It's horrific, some of the actions. The main operator from two of these black sites that I've been at, I will not discuss where they are right now.
Okay.
It'll be disclosed fairly soon. He actually had personal knowledge of that. So when this whistleblower came forward, who was taken to the Pentagon Aero Office and Senate Intelligence Committee, he approached me and confirmed all of it. And so he said, not only that, but it's way worse than that. So there are some really worrisome programs going on without the oversight of the president or the Congress, and that has to get corrected because it's dangerous. Now, all these drones and everything going on is both a diversion, but an attempt to create a psychological warfare,
right, a psyop to distract us.
And that's really what it is, but it could escalate to something very dangerous. I mean, yesterday I was told that I personally might be arrested, that there will be a character assassination plot against me that will come out soon.
Information. True.
That's pretty crazy, man. He's getting threats. I wonder what's going on. Well, let's get our conspiracy hats on and dig a little deeper. Oh, Ashton's giving them crap, man, giving them hell on X. He's calling them out, calling them all out. All the conspiracy theorists that been out there, the UFO community. Let's go at this with some real science. If you got the real science, you got the real videos, get up in my live, share it. I got the old interweb right here in front of me. We can settle this once for all. Let's quit pulling on each other's leg and actually get somewhere. You know, I think we got the technology, if you ask me. And I really like this right here. That Ashton Forbes shared. Let's listen to this video because it proves his point. I mean,
number one, it's the MH3.
Everyone wants to come out and call him a liar and you know, a conspiracy theorist and all this stuff, but he's got the science to back it up. I'd like to see some of these other guys do the same.
70 video, as promoted by Ashton Forbes, actually real. An MH370 was made to disappear in this amazing video promoted by Ashton Forbes. When I first saw that, I went, it's fake. It's some kid in his bedroom doing a cheap, easy to do CGI video. But is it? Well, most people think so because of this.
I have damning testimony.
What? If you tell me that this is the shockwave.
Do we have the shockwave on our server?
We do now, actually.
Wait, what?
I found the stock footage.
You did? You got it!
Yeah, rather, we didn't. Some people on Reddit did. This is a stock footage clip from the 90s.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's the clip from the video, and here is the stock footage.
It's perfect!
It's perfect!
The corridor crew's debunking of the MH370 video explosion as a piece of clip art. They were wrong. And why I say that in relation to the final explosion in the MH370 video is because of what you're seeing on the screen right now. This is a collection of shockwaves that I found. They're all circular, expanding, because an explosion is an explosion. So why, in my humble opinion, and that's all it is, am I saying that? Well, I have, as you know, worked in television all my life. I'm now retired to this underground bunker here in France. But during my working life, I worked in film cutting rooms, making videos in science stories. Now, videos for science stories often had a graphic element. There was interviews, there was drama reconstruction, there was things that you filmed on location.
You guys make sure you look up Professor Simon on YouTube, man. All his videos are freaking crazy and cool, fun to watch, good times.
But often the nitty-gritty of a point needed to be illustrated with a graphic. I've seen graphics evolve from hand-drawn animation up to the most amazing realistic CGI computer-generated imagery graphics. And I've commissioned them with directors and producers, working closely and with friends who run CGI companies. I know how it works. I know how they cut costs. And what we're seeing in the MH370 video reveals something that you probably don't know, and that the corridor crew blatantly ignored. Let me explain. When you commission a CGI video of a dinosaur and a flying cup saucer, it's very easy to have the dinosaur walking along, thank you, and the flying saucer to go in the free space above the dinosaur. There's no masking. But what's masking? Well, masking is when something goes behind another object and appears out the other side. As soon as it goes behind, you have to draw a mask to mask the object as it disappears and unmask it as it appears out the other side. Now, that's pretty simple with a dinosaur, but just imagine a flying saucer flying behind a forest. You can see it through my hand being masked. Now, most graphic designers, to save money, will put the saucer in the free space. There's no masking. Now, I see that all the time, and it actually looks pretty cheap. Things are much more realistic if they go behind or have three-dimensional space. Both of those things are in the MH370 video. This video, in my opinion, was not done by a child in their bedroom. Whatever these objects are, why did the child in their bedroom producing a fake video make the orbs work in a spiral three-dimensional pattern going round the vapor trail? Don't bother, just put it on top, keep them away. But no, they work in three-dimensional space. Have a look at this again. And then I noticed the most amazing, expensive effect that a kid wouldn't bother to do. And Ashton Forbes and I talked about it. One of the orbs actually passes through the vapor trail, whatever it is, smoke or a contrail from the aircraft, and passes through it. And look, there's proper physics. As the mysterious orb, whatever it is, passes through all the smoke, it moves, it goes away, it reforms. That's expensive. That's not a kid in their bedroom. Why bother if it's a fake video? And there's more evidence. Why refilm your fake video off another screen, carefully masking the top and the bottom? And inside information, how did the kid in their bedroom know that the cursor, which we see off the refilmed video, is exactly the same cursor that the NRO use for observations? That comes from a very good source. There's lots of things in this video which point to it not being done as a prank. The other big clue is that it was initially released only a few days after the disappearance of the plane. It's not done in some kid's bedroom. If it is fake, it's done by an enormous graphics facility house with multiple people and a budget. Well, that raises another issue. Who paid for it? Personally, I think this video might be real. And the big question that you and I really need to understand is, what are we seeing here? Well, Ashton and I are going to deep dive into that technology, which might just exist.
Now, that was an amazing breakdown of what Ashton Forbes has been talking about on that video. When I seen that thing go through the trail behind the jet, I was like, holy shit, there it is. That's what you want to see. That's what you didn't see on the other videos. Now, I've been telling everyone on here, you got a chance to come up. I dropped the stream link in the comments. I do this so everyone has a chance to speak their mind. The stream link's in the comments. You can come up and speak your piece. If you're in New Jersey and you're seeing all these drones, well, come up and talk about it. I mean, we got to be able to cipher through these things, you know, get these images out there, the right image, not the image of a helicopter or a plane. You know, we got to get the real images out there. And I challenge anyone to come up on a live and tell me what you think. Because you got people like Joe Rogan, and I think after he watches that video, he's going to be second guessing it himself.
You had sent me a video of a UFO thing that I sent to Jeremy Corbell, and he says it's bullshit.
Which one?
The one where the plane gets circled by the drones.
Oh, okay. So, like, I know that video went around, but I was listening to that autistic man talking about the ins and outs of how they looked at it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you go on the like rabbit hole shit of all this stuff, you know, like, you know,
and you know I do.
So it's all this weird magical shit. Yeah. So it's all this weird magical shit, and it's so closely. So now when they talk about they don't go this weird debate like I don't think it's ETs, it's extra dimensional something. And there's a lot of religious kind of channels that are like, obviously these are the Nephilim from the Bible, all that bullshit. And I don't think
see that thing, that boom is actually that's
from a video game.
That's from a video game.
No, it's not. It doesn't match up.
It does, but it does match up. It does match up, except for some parts of it where it looks like it's partially altered. But obviously, if you're going like, there's a video that breaks it down how it matches up. Not only does it match up, the edges like match up precisely at certain.
And where he's saying it was kind of altered is in the explosion itself. It matched up all but one part where the bunkers were trying to say they just kind of moved the image and flexed the image around to make it where it wouldn't match up. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all from what I'm seeing. But anybody could come up and debunk me right now. The stream link is in the comments on YouTube.
Certain points of it. It looks like an altered version of that image that's like a stock footage of some kind of explosion. And you're doing it through filters and you're adjusting the way the image looks. But a visual effects guy went over it and he explained multiple reasons why he thinks it's fake.
Well, that's a good
Someone
point.
who's an actual expert.
Well, you should know that a visual effects guy expert also went over if CNN discolored your face, and he said they didn't.
Come on,
you think
did
I'm
they really?
We did
but
this on
a
Jimmy.
CNN hired guy.
Who the that's here's the point.
Yeah,
like
here's the point.
You can't trust that now. Like they're gonna do you personally, and then you're gonna go, well, this expert. Like I won't say I know or don't know on a thing, but the way I look
think
at
that
it,
video is bullshit.
It could be
because there's a lot of those videos that are bullshit. That's the point.
Well, I mean, when you're in a conspiracy type environment, you're going to get a lot of airplanes. I mean, so yeah. But what he's saying is, you know, you can pay for anybody to say whatever. But like I said before, anybody's more than welcome to come up in the comments and grab the stream link and come up on the live, because this is a live soapbox for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to come up and debunk nothing. If you just want to talk about it and try to understand it, just come up and let's have that conversation. The stream link's in YouTube. I challenge anybody to come up and debunk this stuff. That's what we need. We need the truth. You know, we want to know the truth about these technologies that they're hiding from us. Now, I bookmarked a bunch of stuff, and so we'll go over some of it. And if y'all have anything, just leave a comment, and we'll go over it also.
Non-human intelligence is so advanced, and at least some of them are malevolent. Why haven't they destroyed us already? Perhaps some fragile yet combustible détente has been reached. Grush has written an internal document about his discoveries that refers to agreements that risk putting our future in jeopardy. And it's quite clear that you're talking about agreements between America and non-human intelligences. Have we made agreements with non-human intelligences?
That's the kind of information I really hope national leadership is able to get to the bottom of.
I need to pin you down on this. Are there agreements between non-human intelligences and the American government?
I think that's a question that I would like to know all the details of as well.
But if this non-human intelligence is so advanced, and at least some of them are malevolent, why?
I guess everybody watched the congressional hearings and stuff, and seen all that circus. They had to go in a skiff and talk about it. Yeah, so you got stuff like this out there. You know, what the crap is that? You know, is it real? If you ask me, it's kind of fake looking, but you never know, man. You never know. You never know. It'd be hard for us to believe anything anymore when you look at MK Ultra and what the government will do. I mean, if they come out of the sky right now, I said on a post earlier today, if they came out of the sky and come down and kidnap people and took them up and showed them stuff, they'd still have a hard time believing it wasn't our government doing it. That's how crazy our government is. Just saying.
I had to apply for a security background on me, which was about 48 hours. And then I got approval for that. And then I showed up at a wing across the street from the Pentagon, and I had to go through the metal detector. And then there are these, kind of exciting for me because I had never had this kind of experience before. There were these like glass tube type things that were lined up like in a row. And only one person can go in at a time. The doors open just like in Star Trek, and you walk in and that door closes. The other one opens, you go through the other side. Then I had to get rid of my phone and everything and leave it outside, and then go into a skiff, which is a sensitive compartmented information facility. This gift's all super top secret, whatever. And I got to meet with the new head of Aero, John Klosklowski. I was like, I can't believe I'm in the belly of the beast. This is crazy. Like, how could I'm a civilian. I don't belong here. But we started talking just very nonchalantly. You know, I said, hey, you guys got to throw us a bone. I said, we're not going away. This story is not going away. And I said, and you know what we're ultimately dealing with. I mean, obviously, the vast majority of UAP or UFOs can be and have been explained away in down-to-earth conventional terms, right? But there's a stubborn core, 15, 20%, that really defy conventional explanation, not because of a lack of data, because they truly can't explain what these things do. And you know well, you've had many people on. These objects exhibit a technology that's just light years advanced from anything that we have. I mean, it's been well documented since the 1940s, and possibly some people would say way before that. But modern-day UFO wave, no question. So there's two stories. One is someone's been in possession of this revolutionary technology for 85 plus years and kept it secret, or two, we're not alone, right?
Right.
NHI. So I said to the gentleman very candidly, we're probably dealing with a small percentage of NHI. And what's the plan to tell the general public? And this is just a couple weeks ago. And he looked at me and he goes, James, I can't part my hair without approval from the DOD. And you can quote me on that. And that was him, in my opinion, telling me, hey, this is structured in a way that my hands are tied. I can uncover all the things in the world, but I can't tell the general public or even Congress without the DOD approving it first.
That's right. Nobody knows. Everything's on lockdown. They're not going to tell the public nothing. They're just going to keep on freaking them out and flying the crap over your house. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm giving the opportunity for all these conspiracy theorists, you know, Lou Elizondo, all these people that go out here and push aliens are real, aliens are real. You know, I got all the facts. I got all the pictures. I got all the videos. You know, I've seen some of them, and I'm wondering, you know, it's not very convincing. I mean, it looks like a paid tour that you're going to go watch in Vegas. You know, I don't know. It's hard to trust anybody anymore, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Now, here's one of the guys I wouldn't mind coming up on here and disproving some of Ashton Forbes videotapes. Why they don't take it up, excuse me, with all the dissecting that he's done to it, you would think these people would be all over it and wanting to, you know, come out there and bring him right into the community. But that's not what's happening. They want you to look at this. Looky here, what I got. You know,
jelly thing again. You know, like with the Houston lights.
Yeah.
So you can see it's actually inside it, and then this shape comes through and moves over the frames. It's gonna blow your minds. You do look at. I'm looking at it, going, "This is not real. It's not. It can't be, but it is, and it's amazing. You know, it's gorgeous and scary, sort of.
And who knows? Maybe this is real. I don't know. I'd like for someone to come up and, you know, share their perspective on the matter. But from where I seen it coming down and going in the water, it looked like one of those drones that come down and that can actually fly in the water and out of the water. I've seen those too, dude. Technology's getting crazy. And not to mention that they can put projectors on these things and project other images besides what it really is, you know, in certain environments. So it could be that too. Like I said, I mean, it's going to take something really crazy to convince me that it's alien nowadays because we got all this technology.
Well, it's like trying to think how big the thing was I've seen under the water, because I've seen something under the water which I didn't know was there.
Mind-gripping videos of UFOs and aliens. It's gotta be an alien. Break out the glow sticks.
All right, well, let's jump into this one then. So this is from Alien Investigation, which is George Knapp's. I think he commissioned the show, or he's produced the show, or certainly involved in the show.
You guys make sure you go visit the UAP Files podcast. Subscribe. Oh, I'm not even subscribed here. There we go, and I'll even like it for you. Let's go.
Netflix. So George Knapp he's been a journalist for a really long time in Las Vegas. Started many, many years back, one of the very first people to really take on board the UFO subject. He was one of, if not the first, to interview Bob Lazar. And he's been deep in the UFO subject for many, many years. Probably one of the, in terms of journalists, one of the OGs of this subject. You know, award-winning journalist. I can't say anything more. I mean, what do you reckon, Tom? What are your thoughts on George Knapp?
Well, he's got a career that's.
I like George Knapp. He's been around for a while, but I mean, these people need to get, you know, a little more open, a little more digging into the science that we have nowadays. What I hate is that they go on these tangents about it being otherworldly over what we have. They never study what we have right now, what it could be right now, and how much it could be just our government. You know, I mean, if you're going to tell the story, let's tell both sides.
I'm gonna say 40 years.
Wow.
And he's still, in my and many other people's opinion, one of the most credible people out there, and that really should say it all. I mean, it's so easy to take that big paying network show that you got full of fairy stories or whatever, but he's consistently put the data in front of him, and he just reports on it and lets people have their own swing of the bat. Like Jimmy said, he's the first guy where Bob Lazar contacted, because I think the story arrived on his editor's desk, and his editor was going, blind sources, whatever, and a young George Knapp went, oh well, give me that, let's have a look at it, and now he's just continued to build on that legacy of authenticity. So he's a great guy. Yeah,
that's terrific.
There was
look him up then.
And I think when the congressional hearing was.
Now I remember listening to George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. Dude, that was my favorite shit back in the day, man. I would listen to George Norrie working night shift, man, 7 to 7 o'clock in the morning. Man, it was the thing, man. Sumerian text and all this stuff and UFOs. Man, it got me through the night shift, man. It got me through the night shift. But now that I've gotten older and I quit working night shift, I could think about it a little more deeper. And then you start looking at the technology that we got around us nowadays. And you're like, man, this could be our government. They could be hiding stuff from us that could move us forward, like so far forward. But, all these big corporations just don't want to let it go, man. They can't let it go.
Was being put together. I think they went to George Knapp to say who would be good people to talk to, and I think he was really heavily involved in organising the witnesses coming forward to the most recent congressional hearing. Not the most recent, the one before that, probably this one as well, the most recent one, but the big one with Dave Grush and Commander Fravor and
he just obviously didn't get together the people that were putting the video footage together.
Yeah, no, not the footage. No, I don't think he was involved in that. I think that was the one before. That was the one a couple of years before where the officials were there and they were showing the footage and they didn't know how to pause the screen and the thing shot past. And I don't really know. Of course you do.
So ill prepared. It's ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So big deal. But anyway, so he put together this show on Netflix. It's sort of him presenting it and talking to people. And I think that this part of the show, that the footage that you've analysed that we're going to talk through and show shortly is where he'd commissioned. I'm going to read this from here actually because I've got it. So an expedition was commissioned by George Knapp to capture clips at night. The first ROV, so it's remote operated vehicle, off the French coast of Normandy. Yeah. So I think they saw an illuminated object roughly 200 yards in the distance. Then they.
Remember, you guys, you can go on X and you can tag me in a post, post something to me or whatever, and I'll pull it up if you don't feel like coming over to YouTube and clicking on the stream link and coming up. But this channel's mostly about getting people up on the live and speaking their mind about the conversations that we're having on X. I cover politics, UFOs, government corruption, political true crime. I want to cover it all. And because I want it all to be a soapbox, the things that we are the news now are talking about, I want to make sure there's a platform for us to actually get up and talk to each other about it. And that's what it's all about, man. Tag me in some stuff over on X. All for One investigates, because it's all for one or it's all for nothing.
They saw it speed away. And I think that was it. So hours later, they'd all gone to bed and there was a night watchman. Just want to pause there for a second. Night watchman, Yeltsin Yemen, just saying. It's always a night watchman. Camburgers, for anyone listening, the reference there. Night watchman happens to capture this object, sort of like an orb going into the water, turning into a USO.
With the exception of our night watch guy. Don't tell me it's going to go in the water. Now it's in the water. I'll be damned.
It's in the drink, guys. It went in the drink.
So this is what it does when it thinks nobody's watching. Have you ever seen anything like this? A Willie Peter flare is the only thing that I know that will hang like that in the air, but that's not a flare.
Dude, like what he just said, this is what it does when it thinks nobody's watching. Like, I mean, that's kind of out there, don't you think? But anyway, I mean, I love the guy. I love the guy. He makes a good show.
There's no smoke coming off of it. Look at that.
What caught your eye on this one? Why did you decide to look?
I'll tell you what really caught my eye was a light in the water. I know it's crazy, guys. Y'all have never seen this kind of technology before, but that light went in the water. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I don't know what made this guy want to look into it further, but we're going to find out.
Look at this one.
It's very clear. I thought it was a very clear image, and it looked quite simple. So I thought, let's have a go on that, you know, see what I can come up with. I wasn't expecting too much because on initial viewing, you couldn't really see, you know, it was just a light. So I did the usual and put it into frames to see what, you know, what I could pull from it. Got the frames way too big to play around with. So I did the usual thing of got the orb, the first proper clear image of a sphere disc. I put that on the screen at a decent size, and then I put.
Yeah, this guy put some work in. He definitely put some work in to investigate this light going in the water. Just so you.
There's plastic on a masking tape around the edges of it, and I enhanced the whole series of frame. First of all, sorry, I edited the video to just the scenes of the orb, no blank bits or anything, so that I can enhance the whole film. Put that into frames. I think it was about 17,000, and then I dragged a massive.
Can we let's pause there? Just pause there for a second. How are you storing this?
I am running so low on space. I've asked Santa for a hard drive. So come a 4 terabyte, please, Santa, because God, I need it, because I am moving stuff around and I'm losing things.
I don't know if y'all seen the little mini supercomputer deals they got out now. Man, I want to get one and put it in my tower and see how it works. It's ridiculous. We should have better laptops and stuff than we do nowadays, man. Storing stuff like this shouldn't be hard. And I don't know what he's got. He might have an Acer Pro from 1980. I don't know.
It's bad.
Okay, sorry. I just needed to ask the question. Continue, please.
No, seriously, it is. Because each time I try and find the piece I've seen, I think, well, I'll get that. And then trying to find it when the images are so large, say like the 400 megabytes each, and I've got, you know, 10,000 or something in one block, trying to view each one to see if that's the one with the picture in, with the right, you know, it takes a while. This came through quite quick. Pulled the picture up, tried to keep them all the same size. So even though it moves around, I've fixed it in the center of the screen so you can see the changes going on. It does a few of those blank things, doesn't really know what's happening, best guess. And then it's like milky. And I think, oh, this is terrible. It's over and over, one after another. Went on a couple of hundred. The milky thing is part of it, right? It's part of this light. This is the weird thing. It does that jelly thing again. You know, like with the Houston lights.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you can see an edge, like a translucent edge. And the thing inside, this milky thing, moves in from the edge. So you can see it's actually within inside it. And then this shape.
Now, with his tape and plastic over the screen, pretty crazy advanced technology he's using. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you got to admit that looks pretty crazy and real. And I don't know how much that would affect it. But, you know, I know if you peel a layer of your screen off and you set something on it, you know, you can start seeing the picture, you know. Yeah, I seen a guy do it on YouTube, you know, where he peeled all that stuff off of his TV and his monitor, and he just put that plastic film on his glasses. That way he was the only one that could see what he had on there. Now, I don't know. I know he didn't do all that, but this looks pretty crazy. I mean, it looks pretty crazy. Let's see what it does.
It comes through and moves over the frames, and I've managed to capture that over a good, you know, I don't know what frame rate it was, but it captured the movement pretty well over a short space, and then it goes milky again, and then it turns back into the light, and it goes into the distance as well, because I was having to enlarge it quite a lot, and I was even getting pixels. You know, it's like, oh, it must have gone further away than 200 yards or something. But I was curious about how far it was from the boat, trying to think how big the thing was that I've seen under the water, because I've seen something under the water, which I didn't know was there. Because
I did too. I seen something on the water. I mean, it looked like a light, but what was it hooked to? I don't know.
Working in so close, the light moves around and it goes down to the water, and I'm pulling it up, getting the frame to, you know, to match each one. And then I'm looking at the water thinking, that's like a light in the water. Is it a reflection from this light? But then I can see another one. And as the frames move on, more of these lights appear under the water. And it's not a reflection. It's not a moonlight on the ripples or anything, which I totally ignored this first off. So I just thought it was that. It was just the light shimmering. It's not. The lights under the water are causing the light on the surface. When I zoomed in, you can see a form, a brown form, like I saw on the Houston one.
Now it's getting interesting. That looks pretty interesting, man. It looks like ET's about to walk out that damn thing. I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty crazy, though. It's pretty crazy. But with the technology we got nowadays, people do crazy stuff.
Can you remember when that first one I showed you and you went, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
There was that shape behind this light. The same thing is under the water with them lights. Here's the weird one. As it comes down, I think it's on the second time it comes down, these lights, two of them blob together. I think it goes into three lights, and this one or two lights, and this one joins it, and then goes in and goes under the water, and then you can see it under the green, you know, and you can see it changing under there a little bit.
Now look, if you want to call bullcrap, come over to YouTube, jump in the chat, hit the stream link. I'll bring you up, and you can tell me what you think about this video. Is it real? Is it fake? If there's a video that you want to go over and you want everyone else to see, hey, on X, hook me up, man. Hook me up. All you got to do is tag me in it, and I'll bring the video up. I'll bookmark it and everything. We'll go over it.
I put some of them on the second clip I think I sent you.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff on that. There's I don't think I've put. There's one on which is like I don't know, like a dummy shape or something in this jelly. I've seen that very similar on the Houston one. I'll get these when I can find them. I'll get them up. They're a TIFF file. They're pretty big, so you can see a lot of detail. That image of the pink thing I didn't see on the second animation I did, because I got that from a different frame rate, which means I'm not.
I don't know about y'all, but that looks like that capsule that the fly come out of on that movie, The Fly. That's what it looks like to me. But it's in the water, guys. You know, I don't know. It'd be a pretty big fly. That dude was a pretty big fly in that movie.
I've not got enough frame rates to capture all the movement that's going on. But that's how I believe it works. I'm not sure. I mean, you'd know, Tom, because you know, it's only from what I've experienced that I'm picking this stuff from. You know.
Yeah. I mean, the immediate question that I've got in my head, and don't presume that I'm any kind of expert, is when you see these balls of light or things that this appears to be, there's to me and lots of the people I've listened to, two main things it could be. One is it's a ball of plasma.
Mm-hmm.
So you would imagine that when plasma or lightning goes into water, it's going to dissipate or at least boil the water around it. So you're going to see lots of steam and foam and everything.
Dude, what the crap is that, Bo? That looks like a lightning bug or something. A Firefly, man. I don't know if y'all know what the Firefly spacecraft looks like. But yeah, I don't know. That's a mix between a Firefly and a damn jellyfish or something.
The other one is as like Bob Lazar has mentioned, like gravitational lensing. So if it's something which is creating a really dense gravitational field around it, then it looks like a ball of light because all the ambient light around it is lensed around it, just like it would go through a crystal ball or something like that. And that would have the effect on water of like pushing a glass bowl into it.
Yeah.
So it would just move out the way.
Yeah.
And looking at that video that you sent there, it looks more like that, but it doesn't look uniform. So it's not like a perfect 360 glass circular
it's not, is it?
thing.
No,
More of a like morphic field. It's fascinating.
It does, yeah, swell and misshape. You know, was it on the last one? Oh no, it was the previous one I did with.
The tail of that thing, man, looked kind of misshaped and dented up. I mean, it looked like a bug, Bo.
Jimmy, with that ball of light in the sky, if you remember, Jimmy, the sphere inside that, I was struck how perfect that did look. And you know, far from what this does. This is very organic, very.
I wonder if it's because it's because of how close it is to the water and then goes into the water. I wonder if, and I'm no expert at all, so I'm just speculating here, but I wonder if potentially through the vapor of the water and indeed the actual water itself could have created a bit of a
like a mirage effect, a scintillation, I think.
To sort of change the shape a little bit. So potentially it is a perfect sort of circle. But then we start going through water to look at it, or going through water vapor. I can imagine there is some, just above the water.
Shots, it's not in the water.
Okay,
that's out. You know, where it's black. I did an inverted one, and I've tried playing around with that. I don't think I've sent you that one, and that's showing some different things. Looks a bit.
You guys make sure you go over to YouTube and give them a like and a subscribe, because they are going over it. It's video footage that's been presented to them, and they're going over it, and you know, they're giving it their best to try to figure out what the crap it is. I mean, that one guy seems like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's able to get these images off of it, but I'm no expert in that area, so I can't tell you. I can only tell you what I see. But if any of y'all know, come over to YouTube, hit the stream link. I'll pull you up and let you have a go at it, man.
A bit tricky to pull out though, because it's got a heavy contrast. But there's again a lot from what I thought was going to be a pretty simple little quick project has opened up, especially when I saw all the lights underneath. You can see how big this thing is. Just reminded me so much of the Houston one. I've been putting animations together, what to post out, and then this came up, drags away again, and I really want to get them out because it's going to blow your minds.
Look at all the stuff in this guy's room, bro. My goodness, man. What is that? A daggum CD changer up there? Man, he's got some old stuff up in there, man. I don't think I've seen one of those in a while, Bo. That might be one of them big old floppy disk movie things. I don't know if y'all ever seen one of them big old floppy disk movies they got back in the day, man. That's crazy.
You look at, I'm looking at it going, this isn't, it's not real. It's not, it can't be, but it is. And it's amazing. You know, it's gorgeous and scary. Some of it's like, crikey, you know, I don't know, you make contact with anything like this, or
but that's such a powerful thing, though. Like in an age of digital mess and Photoshop and stuff like that, to be able to say, okay, so we don't know what this is, but step -1 is it's something.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, at least we've got a foot in the door as to this is worth investigating. What else correlates with this? Because, you know, David Fravor said with the Tic Tac that when he got there was white water and it looked like this thing was. He didn't say it word for word because he only said what he saw, but it implied that there was something under the water there.
Under the water, yeah.
In the Agrodeo footage from that airport there, it's sort of dipping in and out of the water and splitting into two and going back together, and that's something that once we know that it's worth investigating further, that's when we can look for trends and okay, so we know these things can do this now. Without knowing what these things are, at least we can start to study their behavior a little bit.
I know this is totally left field, isn't it? I mean, this is like, you know, like I've said before, it's not the almond eyes, greys and the greens or whatever, and comfy spaceships, and they've got all the system worked out on the inside with the anti-gravity, and this is like life. This is crazy, you know, and you can watch it evolving. And
I just posted a link to my YouTube on my profile. My channel's really hard to find. This is my first video that I'm putting out. Tried a couple other things before, but the videos wasn't the quality that I wanted. But remember, guys, this is supposed to be a soapbox, but you know, I got to get enough subscribers. But I want y'all to come over and come up and tell me what you think. We'll go over anything. Tag me in post on X and I'll bookmark it and I'll get a list together and I'll go live and we'll cover it. No matter what it is, you know, y'all can message me, let me know what y'all think y'all want to cover next, that we got a good pile of evidence to go over and debunk, especially a lot of the stuff going on X. You know, you can get in the chat and you can say whatever you want, but get your butt up here and speak your mind on here, and the chat will tell who wins. All right. The truth will come out.
And moving and following a narrative as well. That I've said that before, you know, and they all do it in different stages, different shapes, but they follow a pattern of doing things. It's really intriguing, and I don't know where it's got. I mean, what that thing with the abyss, you know, what I said about before, the movie. I mean, this is it, isn't it? This is your lights in the jelly, and where did that come from? And that was like 88 or something, wasn't it? Where they must have had sightings of stuff like that before. So they're in the water and they're in the sky.
I think it's wonderful that we've got people like George Knapp and the Netflix team that are prepared to go out there and do it, because
that little image right there he's shown, it looked like it was out of the water and a reflection on the water were meeting up together. So what looked like the bottom of a bug was really just a lot rippling in the water, and that looking and the ball coming down to the water, and when it hit the water it reflected and blurred out the image of the light and made it look like it was all one thing. I think that was just like right before it went in the water all the way. Like as soon as it touched the water and left that ripple, it made it look like that. So that's not one big piece. It's just a lot going in the water. But look how screwed up you can make it look. I mean, when you get to digging real far, if you don't know what you're doing, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case all the way. These guys are looking into it. That guy, he went over it several times. I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. He did it, but in my opinion, and I think he said something, one of the guys said something similar to that a while ago. But that's my opinion. It really looked like it was just reflecting off the water, making it look like that big one thing.
Because there's so many people saying, look, it's coming from the water, or there's a lot coming from the water. And I get, you know, I talked to Adam G. Simon, who interviewed a couple of times in the past, and he's constantly, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, constantly, dude, it's coming from the, like, you know, I told you it's coming from the water, you know. But you know, that so many different people say it, and we talked about this before with Richard Dolan. You know, he's done so much work on USOs and UFOs coming from the water and oceans and rivers and any body of water.
So easy to hide.
Absolutely, but it's like everyone's talking about that side of things. People are trying to take photos from land. It's like hardly anyone's going out there. Maybe Avi Loeb had his thing, but that was more to recover objects. But at least he's going out there doing expeditions.
Yeah.
But so it's really cool to see people like George Knapp. It couldn't have been a better person, really, could it? But somebody like George Knapp going out and they're going, well, let's commission an expedition. Let's go out there. Let's take ROVs and see what we can find. You know, how successful are people going to be? I don't know.
It's when you get this data, you've got to see a bigger picture than just a little video clip or just a little photograph. So it's really important, the work that you're doing with this kind of stuff.
That's brilliant. Oh, I'm so proud. I'm proud. I feel very proud that you're saying that. I mean, because it's a lonely job.
And I really like this guy here, dude. He seems cool as hell, man. I want to look into the rest of his work just to see what he's got, because at least he goes about it and tries to figure it out. That's what we're all trying to do, and that's what it's all about. If anybody else can do a better job, I like to see you get it and do it. That's all you got to do is get it and do it. George Knapp, I mean, with all the money he's got, why is this guy having to do that much? He should have took this guy to a lab somewhere and really went through it instead of just going out there filming on the scene and making a documentary out of it, instead of actually trying to, you know, make a documentary out of actually finding out what the hell it is.
Job, isn't it? Doing the it's a lonely job being a YouTuber or something. But all I'm doing, you know, clicking around it takes so long, and it is nice, and it gives you a boost.
I think it's got to be like a passion thing, isn't it? You've got to be passionate about it. And I think with you, certainly, Peter, when we first started talking, and everyone's comment was he needs to get his own YouTube channel, he needs to, you know, make his own videos, and I was like, absolutely, you know.
Yeah, imagine what people like him could do if he was properly funded. You know, it's awesome that these guys even had him on the show to present his work. That's good. That's what we should all do. And that's what I like to do here. People to come here, click on the link, come up, have a conversation about it, because we don't get nowhere unless we talk to each other. We have to talk to each other.
I completely agree. But yeah, I think it's one of those that some of them you put a lot of effort into working on footage. I mean, I get so many of those small clips, and I just try and make them a bit more presentable so people can see them. I don't really do anything to them, really. I just maybe enlarge them or slow them down a bit.
Yeah.
But even that, you think this piece of footage is amazing. I've got really good information from the person. You know, we can kind of confirm that it can't be these things. We can't guarantee it might not be these other things, but it's enough. Yeah. It's interesting, and you know, it's enough to pass off to people and go, what do you think of this? This is really interesting. It's unique. It seems quite exotic.
Yeah.
And then you just, you know, the response to some of them is not really that interesting, but then other ones you think it's not that interesting, but you know, I know it's confirmed, I know it's a genuine image or genuine video of what, I'm not sure, and people just go crazy for that stuff, and it's so strange, you can never really gauge it. You know, I work for hours on that, and I know Tom's the same with your documentaries and stuff. You put so much time and effort into them, and you never know what's going to catch people's attention and what's not.
It's so frustrating sometimes, and that you put so much work in the editing, and it's, gosh, and then you get really meticulous with it because it's not quite right, and then put it through again and again, and then and then you do the final thing, and you realise you've got a couple of frames cropped in too much. No, but it takes me so long to do it. I mean, you must be. What do you use? Premiere or something?
If you ask me, what he brought together for his evidence was really awesome. I mean, for what it was, he done a really good job of presenting it. And the fact that George Knapp even went to look at it, there had to be a little bit of a there, you know? And this guy's not going to put that much time into something unless there was a there, you know? Do we know what it was? No. But that's what it's all about. We can't find out unless we look and we communicate and we talk to each other. You know, sometimes you gotta bow out and go in and just get the evidence, man. Like, no matter who it is, man, no matter what kind of problems you have, sometimes we just got to talk it out and get to the source. Everybody wants to solve this problem, and we need more evidence. We don't need more stories. We don't need more movies. We need evidence. We need scientific backing evidence.
What software?
I do a mixture, so it depends on if I've got a really detailed thing that I want some really cool, clever things. So I'll use DaVinci Resolve. If I'm just putting together something simple like the podcasts, and it's just a conversation, a couple of videos, maybe a couple of clips, then I might use VN Editor. VN, which is free software. It's quite simple to use, and it's fast. It's not the best, but it's fast, and it comes out HD, so I'm happy with that. But if it's something that's a bit more detailed, lots of clips, lots of cuts backwards and forwards and things, then probably DaVinci. Yeah,
DaVinci was good tonight. I put to get some of those quick clips for you. I put a load of frames across, and they were 238 megabytes each, and I sort of dragged and then just went and it held on, I went, and there it came up, and then pulled them across. We did it, and then I quickly shrunk them down into a thing and sent it off to a MP4.
If anyone listening wants to get Peter a Christmas present of a 10 terabyte hard drive, I'm sure he'd gratefully receive it. I'm sure we could arrange.
I tell you what, a friend of mine I knew when I was sculpting, he's got a computer that is just industrial strength.
Yeah, I can imagine the work that this man could do if he had the right equipment and the right software. And he could be breaking down all these videos on X for us. He could really do a good job. But I appreciate the UAP Files podcast for putting a video out that was worth looking at. I found it really interesting. And these guys seem really cool. And at least they're trying to solve a problem. And it shines a little bit of a light on George Knapp about what Ashton's talking about. I mean, I like the guy. I listened to him back in the day, but story time's over, guys. Story time is over. We want the evidence. We want to know what the crap's going on, and we want to know now. No more screwing around with UFOs and blurry shots of jet airplanes and helicopters. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of what it is and what it might be?
Oh, well, absolutely. I think everything's on the table. I mean, I've been in some briefings where specifically about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were in a skiff in a classified setting, and I can't share what shapes these are. But there are actually 2 specific shapes that have been, there was footage and photographs of them in the skies that the federal government, the U.S. federal government cannot identify and don't know what they are. So I think that all options are on the table. With regard to the drones, I think it's very clear it's the U.S. government. I think it's very clear the U.S. government is lying to the American people and to Congress because we don't really know what's going on. I do believe that at least Congress has the right to know so we can pacify some of the...
Amen. They are lying to us, or they're really incompetent.
Safety concerns and fears of that people have all along the eastern seaboard.
If they can develop some new propulsion system, and I think this is my theory, I think that's what all this UAP shit is all about. You know, I think
what's UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Gotcha.
It's the new way of saying UFO.
Gotcha.
When you're hearing all these disclosure talks and all this stuff, I think 2 things are happening simultaneously. I think it's highly likely that there is intelligent life that's aware of us from somewhere else, and I bet they visited, and I would if I was them. I also think that the government probably has in its possession some new form of propulsion that it uses for drones that is insanely sophisticated and above and beyond what we think is currently available. Some gravity-based propulsion system. And that's what a lot of these pilots are seeing. That's why these things move in ways that no one has ever seen before. That's why they can go into the ocean. That's why they can shoot through the sky. I think there's some kind of wacky drone that we've developed.
Exactly. I do too. I mean, that's the only explanation I can come up with, because I can't handle the fact that our government would be this incompetent. And I feel bad for the people in New Jersey and everywhere else that, you know, that don't know that this could happen. They don't watch Joe Rogan. They don't watch conspiracy shows and stuff. You know, they're not on the up and up, you might say. So stuff like this will freak them out, man. They don't know what the crap it is. They start, you know, pew-pewing at it and all this stuff. I mean, I seen a guy the other day, man. He was lighting it up, though. I was like, what the hell, man? It could be a helicopter. What are you doing? People are nuts. Man, get informed. Get on here and at least get on the internet and try to figure out what the situation is on the ground, you know, a little bit, you know, before you go crazy. And of course, he's probably watching CNN. I don't know. I mean, if so, man, that's a problem. That's a big, big problem. You go that far.
I mean, what were your impressions when you saw?
But before you make the decision, oh, well, CNN said they don't know what the hell it is. Nobody know. I'll figure out what the hell it is, and to go out there and start blasting, Bo. I mean, chill out, man. What, you know, watch a little bit more social media and try to figure it out a little bit that way. I don't know what you're going to do, but get off of what you're watching. If you're going that, if that's your next.
Oh man, when I saw those orbs, I saw this one orb just start exactly what it's doing now. Just start to go around this thing. And all of a sudden it started joining another one and then another one. And I said, oh my God, they're forming a bubble of non-ionizing radiation around this thing. There's no way what's about to happen. I anticipated. Do you understand? I knew before that black hole happened. Let's call it a black hole.
You knew that was going to happen beforehand? Just
I knew that would happen. I knew that would happen. That's why when I said, this is it. This is the Pais effect. I of course, it's, you know, hubris. That's the only thing I got going for me, brother. That's not one thing I'm losing anytime soon. So
have you ever seen videos like this? Military videos like this before? Anything even similar or remotely similar to this?
Never ever. And even if I have, because
You wouldn't be able to
remember,
talk about
at
it?
one point I would not be able to discuss because that would give away methods.
Why do you
At
think they were
first,
converging like that at the end?
they're actually focusing as much non-ionizing radiation around this craft in order to condition the local vacuum around the craft, the aircraft, in order to form this wormhole opening for one of the back. What's a wormhole? It's really a black hole connected to white hole. Whatever has an entrance will most likely have an exit. I do not believe in space-time singularities. I'm afraid Penrose was 100% wrong from this point of view. It never goes to zero. There's a quantum bounce. Ashtekar is correct. There's an Ashtekar bounce at the Planck scale. Again, the whole idea of why I thought that they were getting close and started to oscillate around this thing is to basically create that resonance effect that would build the field to the levels it would need to break locally the Schwinger limit.
Crazy stuff, man. Ashton's on to something, man. I really do believe he's on to something. Like, I can't scroll through my feed without seeing something about this stuff. And this is his channel, Ashton Forbes. If you want to go visit him on X, a lot of you on X already know who Ashton is. And if you don't, give him a like. Tell him I sent you. I don't know if y'all seen this video, man, but this
How did you convince Hezbollah?
This lady's crooked as hell. I don't know if I'd trust anybody she has on that show, or them in general. But isn't it some weird shit to have this on your news network? Hey, man, they're playing this crap on TV, and then they're calling us conspiracy theorists. Try to wrap that around your head.
How did you convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel, shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
Pentagon scientists have finished testing on an early weapon that can make laser plasma balls.
And the reason why I'm showing you this stuff on Ashton Forbes' page is because this is what people need to be doing. They need to be going over the real science around this stuff instead of automatically assuming it's aliens. Like, I've heard a person from Lockheed, I think it was Lockheed or something like that, that they have the technology to take ET home. So why the hell are we automatically assuming that they're UFOs? I mean, these people, remember the Illuminati cards, guys, the last one.
Talk.
Stop, or we will be forced to fire upon you.
It's called the laser-induced plasma effect, and it's made by the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate. So what they've done is basically created a laser that can shoot out to a certain distance, and they can pipe in sound waves through it, and actually make human voice sounds and commands.
Stop, or we will be forced to fire upon you.
Now, where this becomes useful is around an area.
Now, they got to be careful using this stuff out in the hood, man. You're going to make someone go freaking crazy, man. Be out there, you just got a little lit, man, and then all of a sudden this little ball starts talking to you, man. And I mean, who are you going to tell? Who's going to believe you? And I mean, then you're going to be the nut of the town,
area we want to keep a perimeter secure. So essentially you can shoot out this laser, you can then talk to the people on the edge of the perimeter rather than sending troops out there and tell them to get away, or you're going to shoot or get away, or they're going to use other means to deter them. And that same laser can be used to actually target the individual and create heat through pinpricks, like microscopic pinpricks.
Yeah, because they would never never misuse this thing. Like our intelligence agency, they would never misuse this.
Their skin, even beneath clothing. It's extremely uncomfortable and people move out of the way almost immediately. At the same time, the exact same laser is also being used as kind of a never-ending flashbang grenade. It can basically, with a power source, it can constantly create audible effects to deter and confuse and disorient people, just like a flashbang grenade that you would have in your kit, but would only be able to flash once, maybe twice, depending on the design. Now, it's still a few years away. They just finished testing to get the audio portion through the laser in a laboratory setting this year, but they expect to have a fieldable version within the next 5 years that troops could use to protect different areas or put on mobile platforms to disperse crowds or use it in a non-lethal way in theater.
Yeah, that's some pretty wild stuff. They're out there tripping people out with that, man. They're not going to be using it to warn nobody or nothing, man. They're going to be out there driving people crazy with this kind of thing. You just can't trust them, Bo. You just can't trust them. I like this right here, man. This clip from the X-Files. Y'all remember, tag me in some stuff that you want to see on here. And I'll be sure to play it on here for you. And everybody can go over it in the chat. Remember, come to the link on YouTube in the chat. I'll bring you up, man. Anybody that wants to prove Ashton wrong or anybody else wrong, or you got information that everyone wants to hear. Maybe you're a time traveler. Come over and tell us about it, man. It's all in good fun, but let's try to get to the fact.
What we're showing you we do at great risk. Colleagues have had labs burned to the ground and work destroyed by our own government. It's running on toroidal energy, so-called zero-point energy, simply the energy of the universe.
You're talking about free energy?
That we've had since the 40s. No fuel, no flame, no combustion. A simple electromagnetic field. Technology kept secret for 70 years while the world ran on petroleum.
Oil companies making trillions.
What I'm going to show you next is the most unbelievable part.
Gravity warp drive, but how?
Yeah, that crap's crazy. And they got stuff like this, man. They're hiding the good tech. And they've had it since the 1930s, Bo, reverse engineering this stuff. But y'all remember, y'all tagged me on X. I'm going to get off here. I've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes. I'd like to stay on here longer if you got something you want to share. And go over. If you tag me in a post, I can get back on tomorrow. Just tag the crap out of me with some posts, and we'll go over it tomorrow. But remember, I do a little bit of everything. As you'll see at the end of my live, I do everything. Political true crime, UFOs, science, technology. I go over it all on here, guys. Just remember, it's all for one or it's all for nothing. I'm here for a soapbox for everybody to be able to get up on my live and have a voice. Have a voice with the community of people that really want to find out what's going on. Happy holidays, guys, and Merry Christmas. It's all for one investigates, because it's all for one or all for nothing.